What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going to a gym to hit a chest and shoulder session. So I'll be taking you with me. Let's get into it. All right, and just before we head to the gym, we're gonna make a quick pre-workout. So we've already had breakfast. We haven't had our creatine, so we're gonna put that in there as well. I do go through phases when it comes to pre-workout. Sometimes I'm taking it religiously before every session, and then I'll go months without it. Kind of a recurring theme in my life is go 100% with something for a while, and then the current pre-workout I'm taking is Pride by EHP Labs. It's nothing too hectic, which is kind of why I take it. Caffeine, 100 milligrams, so basically a coffee. So it's beautiful. All right, pre-workout. Let's go hit chest and shoulders. All right, starting off with the incline bench. Typically I'd pre-fatigue the chest with a cable fly of some sort, but for today, we're going to be going straight into incline bench, and then the second exercise will go cable flies. So probably 3 sets. With all compound exercises, I'm typically going anywhere between the 6 to 8 rep range. 3 sets, 8 reps, 1 feeler set, which is basically going relatively light, and we'll go up from there. All right, so we'll go first feeler set, 60 kilos, so around the 6 rep mark. Beautiful, clean warm-up set. It's actually a very nice incline on this bench, so life is good. Second warm-up set, we'll see how 80 kilos feels. And then potentially let's go 90 or 100 for 6. All right, 80 was a pretty good weight. Typically for anything incline, going more, focusing on the slow and controlled, so lighter weight, nice and slow down. Pause at the bottom, not bouncing off your chest, and then focus on that squeeze up, driving through your elbows. That way there's minimal front delt getting recruited. So the main thing when you're doing any sort of incline bench, or any bench in general, any chest exercise, is setting your shoulders. So a lot of people kind of just sit down with like their back flat, and then you end up, that last little bit there is just all front delt. And that's why a lot of people struggle to develop their chest, and then they mainly develop their front delts. And then they train front delts on shoulder day as well. The way I used to teach it when I was a PT is pretend you're putting your shoulder blades in your back pocket. So shoulder blades together and then down into your back pocket. And that's setting your shoulders, it's engaging your lats, and it's putting everything, all the load going through your chest. And also you're getting shoulder injuries. So that's the main thing we're gonna do. The other thing we need to focus on when doing any bench variation, dumbbells, incline, whatever, is engaging your lats. So engaging your lats is when you end up in this position. And that's going to dictate where our elbows go. So the elbows engage there. See how our elbows end up about 45 degrees. It stabilizes your shoulder joint, so it prevents any injuries. And it also keeps everything nice and stable. It means you can push through your chest nice and controlled, and everything is going through your chest as opposed to having to worry about engaging your shoulders. So we'll go 1 more set. 80 kilos is feeling good today. It's been a very warm day, so we'll see how we go. Beautiful. All right, that's 3 sets done of the incline bench. Now we're going to go into a Pec Fly. All right, Pec Fly. This is actually a really good Pec Fly machine. I very rarely actually come to this gym, but in terms of the machines, it's all like your old school plate loaded, hammer strength. It is a very nice gym to train at when you're in the mood. So very good Pec Fly machine. The one at my normal gym, techno gym equipment, always does feel like it's been made to look good as opposed to feel good, but it's just a personal preference. So the same sort of thing here, shoulder blades together and down, lock that in. And again, focusing on what your forearms are doing, not where your wrists are going. So your pec is acting on your upper arm, right? So it's bringing it in here. So we're not pushing it forward, we're pulling through our chest onto our upper arm. And that way you can engage this way better. So that's going to be the focus for these sets. So these isolation exercises, typically we're going around the 10 to 12 rep mark. You don't really want to go above 12, but you know, if you drop it down to 6 reps, you're very unlikely to be using a weight that you can actually control all the way through and, you know, feel the squeeze, feel the stretch. So I'm going to go for 12 reps here. I do love this machine. 10 out of 10 in all categories. Works really well. So good choice coming to this gym today. So we've got 2 more sets of this. Don't figure it out. So 2 more sets. Beautiful. Cannot get enough of Pec Fly when it's on a good machine. So very glad, very happy to be here. All right, we've got 2 more chest exercises, then we're going to move on to shoulders. So we're probably going to do some dips to hit that lower chest, some flies, and then for shoulders, you want to hit your front delt, mid delt, rear delt. So I'll go over that when we start, but typically there's at least 3 exercises for shoulders, so we get good coverage of all 3 delts. All right, shoulders. We're going to start off with hitting our front delt on the Smith machine. This is an angled Smith machine, which I don't love, but got to make do with what you got out in the bush. So you can go relatively heavy with the Smith machine shoulder press. You're not really focusing on stability or controlling the bar. It's all there for you. You can just load it up, put a lot of load through your shoulders. So really a staple in any of my programs. So gonna, again, 3 sets. More of a compound movement than an isolation exercise. We're going to go again for the 6 to 8 rep mark. That was a bit light. We hit 12, so we'll probably put on at least another 10 each side. The key when doing any shoulder exercise, very similar to when you're doing your chest, is engaging your lats, setting your shoulders, etc. So once you set your shoulders and engage your lats, it will really bring your elbow forward and externally rotate your arm. And then that is the arm path we want. So we don't want to be out here, again, putting a lot of pressure on your shoulder. There's a lot of people that get shoulder injuries from training chest and shoulders just because we're not made to be pressing from here. It's quite an unnatural place to press from. Whereas if you engage your lats and bring it forward, that is going to be A, much stronger, and B, way more stable and safe from your shoulders. Because one of the biggest things with weight training is being able to train for extended periods without getting injured. Like, a lot of people train really hard in a really stupid way. They always end up injuring themselves. So maybe they train hard for a few months, injure themselves, take a few months off. But what I found works for me is I always train safe with the best technique possible. And I've, touch wood, never been injured. So it just means that I've been able to train 6 days a week, every week for 5, 7, 8 years. So that's my secret anyway. All right, I think that 10 was a good move. That was 8 reps. Enough to get to failure without kind of getting sloppy form, controlling the bar the whole way, pausing at the bottom, big squeeze at the top. So that was a good weight. I think I could probably put on another 5 each side for 6 to 8 reps. So we'll give that another go, and I'll move on to hitting our mid delts. All right, that is front delts done. Apparently they got aircon in this gym recently, but I can't feel any aircon. So it's very hot. Now we're gonna hit our mid delt. We're gonna do some seated lateral raises. Realistically, they're the same as doing standard lateral raises, but I do find the stability of sitting, as well as just mixing it up a bit. Like, you can't just do lateral raises looking in the mirror twice a week, every week. So seated, more stability, and just kind of mixing it up a bit. So as everyone probably knows, lateral raises, you're never going to go much heavier. No matter who you see training, no matter how big they are, you're not getting much above 12, 15 with nice clean reps. So we got the 10 kilos today, really focusing on that control, driving up through the elbows, pausing at the top, feel the squeeze, nice back down, keeping the tension on throughout. And we're going to aim for 12. Beautiful. The main thing here is keeping your shoulders still. We don't want to quite have any shrugging, so you'll see when people start lifting a little bit too heavy, they'll start shrugging, moving up, hitting your trap. So it's locking those shoulders in and forcing yourself to come out and around, and just don't let those shoulders come up. The other thing people typically do, it's always when you're going too heavy, is they come up and then their arm externally rotates. So that external rotation there is shifting the load from your mid delt to your front delt. So the reason that happens is if you're just focusing on bringing the weight up, your body's going to compensate for the lack of strength in your mid delt, which is typically weaker than your front delt. So it's going to externally rotate your arm to engage your front delt. And then again, much like those chest exercises, you just end up hitting your front delt. So then you do bench press, which is front delt, and then you'll do your cable fly, front delt, and you come over here trying to train your mid delt, and you'll hit your front delt again. So that's why it's so important to get your technique right and just focus on it every single set. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. It's months of consistently focusing on getting that technique proper. But then once you're there, it just becomes second nature and you can just kind of pump them out. But the key takeaway there is just really not going too heavy and not ego lifting. 10 kilo dumbbells look small, but if you want big shoulders, you need small dumbbells. So I'll do another 2 sets of this. We'll do some reverse pec fly to hit those rear delts. And then that is a very warm chest and shoulder session complete. Very good machine once again. All right, so this session over. We have hit incline chest, lower chest, mid chest. We've hit our front delt, mid delt, rear delt. So overall, great all-round session for chest and shoulders. So now it's time to head on home, have something to eat. That's another day in the books. Another successful Friday. Always nice to get a good session in. What's on for the rest of the day? It's not going to be a lot. It's going to go home, eat, pump out a bit of work, and then go for a walk in the evening. Hope you learned something from this session, and looking forward to the next video.